Hello, and welcome back to the Reactivist podcast. I'm Marlaina Schiavo. If you missed it, Vivek Ramaswamy sat down with Fox News Business to talk about, in very broad terms, what his new role will entail.
Are you expecting to close down entire agencies, like President Trump has talked about the Department of Education, for example? Are you going to be closing down departments?
We expect mass reductions. We expect certain agencies to be deleted outright. We expect mass reductions in force in areas of the federal government that are bloated.
Hey, Vivek, I know you're new to Washington, but I can tell you that they already got rid of the bloat. And in other news, RFK Jr.
Did RFK Jr. produce some of these strangest headlines in the history of presidential campaigns? He sure did. Does RFK Jr. have a strange, is one way of describing it, penchant for carrying dead animals in his car? He sure does. The guy who said he would stop research into infectious diseases would be in charge of the agency that studies infectious diseases.
But if that wasn't enough, a picture has surfaced of RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and Donald Trump eating McDonald's. This is also on the heels of RFK saying that he wants to place regulations on Coca-Cola, replacing high fructose corn syrup. I have to say that slowly. I can't say it fast. High fructose corn syrup. Blah, 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 blah. Can you do it? I can't. Anyway, he wants to replace high fructose corn syrup with cane sugar. And in the photo, he's sitting there with a Coke as well. When asked about the photo, he said it's really rough on the campaign trail. All you get is a choice of McDonald's or a bucket of KFC. Okay, you're sitting with Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and yourself. I feel like you guys could come up with a little bit of extra change to get yourself something healthier. Elon Musk is the guy who had a rocket booster land into a claw, okay? Something that had never been done before. I feel he may have the resources to find someone who could maybe hijack a vegetable or two. Give me a break. Many outlets talked about this photograph, one of them being the New York Post, and they had a two-shot, the shot of them eating McDonald's, and then they just had a photo of RFK topless. I don't know why. I truly don't know why. I think if RFK was overweight or didn't look very healthy, maybe that would have made more sense to me, but I'd like to know what the editors at the New York Post were thinking, because they showed a photo of him just ripped and totally in shape. I was thinking about it. I'm like, what would be the point? Like, what is the idea here that they're going for? I can't come up with it. And let's get real, RFK Jr. The reason you're eating it, you're sucking up to the boss. Just say it. Or maybe you like McDonald's and fast food from time to time isn't that big of a deal. But listen, if I was RFK Jr., regardless if he eats McDonald's once a year, once every 2 years, this is like PR 101. If you're the guy who's saying that you're going to make food healthier in America, when someone holds up a camera and you've got a whole display of McDonald's in front of you, that's the moment you get up and go to the bathroom. And just so you guys know for future, McDonald's sells salads. And in New York, Governor Kathy Hochul made an announcement that she's going to save you money by charging you money. Take a listen.
As governor, it is my job to make decisions that take into account the needs of all working New Yorkers. So I made the decision to put the congestion pricing program on pause while we devise a different path forward. And I'm proud to announce we have found a path to fund the MTA, reduce congestion, and keep millions of dollars in the pockets of our commuters. Under this plan, the MTA will implement a congestion pricing plan with a reduced daytime toll of $9 beginning in January. You heard that correctly. It was $15 before, and now it is $9. That is a 40% reduction. Will save daily commuters nearly $1,500 annually.
You got to give her credit. She's really trying to sell this. I mean, the original rate that they discussed and that was on the table and that was very controversial was $15. So they put a pause on that plan, and now they're going to charge $9, which, by the way, is up from $0. Okay, just to be clear. It was 0, now it's 9. So to say you're saving people 40%, of what they would have been charged but never actually were, you're saving people 40% of a proposed price of $15, but charging them $9 more than they were already paying. Let me say this. People who don't take the MTA now aren't going to start doing it now. They just aren't. There's something very undesirable about the MTA, which is why you're charging people money to improve it. Okay. So people who drive into New York City aren't going to all of a sudden start taking public transport because they're getting charged $9. They're just not. That's like when you're walking in New York and it starts to rain. So you run to a bodega and get an umbrella and they say that'll be $10, $12, whatever. The majority of people just buy the umbrella. They don't say, oh, never mind. I'm going to take the less desirable option of walking in the rain. It's like going to a Giants game and you go and order a bottle of water and they're like, that'll be $8. What do? You pay the $8. You're not going to say, never mind, I'm going to go drink from the water fountain. So apply that logic to congestion pricing. I think the only benefit here is that the MTA is going to get a boost in their budget, and hopefully it will improve in some capacity. But I have very little doubt that the congestion of cars in New York City is going to change significantly, if at all, which means it won't be a reduction in the pollution and the traffic. The end result will just be people not liking Kathy Hochul more than they already don't like her. The only thing people want to hear is that it got trashed, that legislation got trashed and wasn't coming back. That's all people want to hear. So you can sell it and talk slowly and work on how you're going to save people 40% more from the original idea. It's not very convincing. And in some surprising and refreshing news, which shouldn't be surprising or refreshing, Joe Scarborough and his co-host Micah went to speak to Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago, and this is what they said.
We have not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realized it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
Are we finally going to have an unbiased media? Is that what is about to happen here? Are we turning the page on everybody, dumping on everybody? And if so, what am I supposed to do? President Biden went down to the Amazon. He is the first sitting president to actually visit the Amazon. He delivered remarks regarding the climate.
It's no secret that I'm leaving office in January. I will leave my successor and my country in a strong foundation to build on if they choose to do so. It's true, some may seek to deny or delay the clean energy revolution that's underway in America. But nobody can reverse it. Nobody.
He went on to say, not when so many people, regardless of party or politics, are enjoying its benefits. Not when countries around the world are harnessing the clean energy revolution to pull ahead themselves. The question now is, which government will stand in the way and which will seize the enormous economic opportunity? He looks like he's standing in front of a green screen, but he is in fact in the Amazon, and Kudos to him. And just so you know, when he says which governments are going to stand in the way, that's code for Donald Trump is going to fuck this shit up. It's been about 2 weeks since Trump was reelected, and as we know, and we've seen online, that emotions have been running high. So I think it's a decent time to check in and see how the libs of TikTok are handling things.
Well, the liberals have Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, we do. I'm not going to sleep until I have made every MAGA in the 3-mile radius cry. We're going to do personal harm upon their psyches. Demure and mindful are out. Resisting while kicking and screaming are in. We're going feral.
See, this is the kind of stuff that doesn't help the Democratic Party at all. And I'm not saying that you can't have a voice, but videos like this don't move the needle. Your strategy is to dedicate your entire channel to what? Walking down the street, speaking angrily into your cell phone that is in selfie mode. And how is that going to make a change? I really don't understand what that does for anyone. All they do is oversaturate the web with toxic messages. That's it. There's another way to get your message across. If you have a problem with legislation, why don't you come up with workable solutions, get involved in some capacity, actually take action? Don't spend the next 4 years making TikTok videos about how annoyed you are at the fact that Donald Trump is president. That's not a solution at all. You can get out your frustrations and you can rant and rave, but you're not actually holding anyone accountable. All you're doing is screaming into your phone. So this is not what they're talking about when they say, be the change you want to see in the world. Just FYI. And again, the approach to the messaging is just off the rails. And this is one of the more tame videos on Libs of TikTok. But I'm going to play that video back one more time, and I'm going to show you what it feels like and what it sounds like when I'm listening to it.
Well, the liberals have Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
I'm not going to sleep until I have made every MAGA in the 3-mile radius cry.
Yeah.
We're going to do personal harm upon their psyches.
Yeah.
Demure and mindful are out. Resisting while kicking and screaming are in.
Fuck demure and mindful.
We're going feral.
Give me kitty litter, give me death.
Want to fuck around? We're going to make them find out. This channel is now dedicated to making sure they don't get away with a damn thing these next 4 years.
Can't stop us now. We're gonna make all these videos and everybody's gonna listen. Everybody. I just gave myself artificial rosacea for that video. Oh, libs of TikTok.